I'm your host, Kelly Morgan, indie author and indie publisher. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. Welcome to today's episode. Hey everybody, Kelly here, indie author, indie publisher, and we are here at another edition of The Author's Mic. And y'all know what day it is. It's Monday because we have a guest. And I'm so glad when y'all take me up on my offer to share the platform with me. It makes me so happier. I like nothing better than helping somebody promote their work. It really makes me happy. And so I'm more than happy to help. But today I have author Dorcas Renee. She is here to talk about two of her books. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you, Kelly. This is so wonderful. I love talking about my books, but it's nice to talk about it and not talk about it in a vacuum, but to talk about it to an audience. So thank you for this opportunity. And for your listeners, thank you for tuning in. I hope that something you hear about my two books sparks interest for you. So, is it okay if I just go ahead and talk about what they are and then you
Yeah,
can ask me
let's
questions?
dive right into them. I always like to ask people first of all, like, how did you become an author? Like how did you get here? Because we all don't start out this way. Let us know if you self-publish those books or if you have a publisher, and then tell us about the books.
Excellent. Yeah, I always wrote. As a kid, I was a writer. I would write stories, and in my head, I had two things that I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be a psychologist, and I wanted to be a writer. I didn't say author at that time. I just said writer. I didn't know what that was going to look like. Studied journalism, realized in the midst of my program that I make up stories much better than I report stories. So journalism probably wasn't the best place for me because I was like, this is interesting, but I could make it so much better. So I went into social work, did a lot of counseling with expat communities. I worked with Peace Corps and USAID, the now defunct USAID, but really still loved writing. And I got divorced. And as many of you all who are listening and have had that experience may know, for me, it took my voice. I felt like an idiot. I felt like I didn't have anything to say. And so for a good like 9 months, I didn't have really a voice, but started storytelling. I dared myself to do it. And that just started my writing all over again. And it opened something up in me. And I realized that I had a voice. I started writing plays. And I would dabble with a novel here and there, but I never finished one. I just had all of these little stories here and there. And then in, I think it was 2014, for NaNoWriMo, the National Novel Writing Month, I challenged myself to put everything together. And I did. I put the first draft of my first novel, Y'all Chose This Together. And it just sort of bloomed from there. And I've been writing and telling stories ever since. And decided to self-publish because the themes of my book, especially at that time, 2015, were really touchy and folks didn't want to touch it. So I did not get an agent. I had self-published a children's book earlier, and I told myself never again because I'm giving this book away for Christmas, Easter, Hanukkah, Halloween, Groundhog's Day. Everybody you get a book, you get a book, you get a book, and I still had books. So I said never again would I self-publish. I got an agent for the second book, which is called Wait What? And again, the topics were difficult for people to hold, and so didn't get a contract. And I thought, when have you ever waited around for somebody to give you something? When can we ever afford as women, as Black women, as people of color to wait around until somebody says you're acceptable? And so I was like, screw y'all, I'm acceptable. I like this. I think it's important. I wrote it for a reason and decided to take the plunge and self-publish.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of us self-publish is because we're not going to wait for a seat at the table, right? So
Right.
you build your own table, and then if you want to invite others to come sit with you, so be it. But you got your table and you got your
Right.
words out there. So show us and tell us about the books.
Okay, so here my first and my second, and I'll go through them really quickly. Y'all chose this, The Diaries of Trina Pardo, and I don't like the labels, but it's contemporary political social fiction. And so I'll just read you a glimpse of what's on the back cover, and then talk about the second book, and then we can sort of dive right in. So, in the shadow of tyranny, one woman's diary reveals a fierce struggle for love and sanity amidst a world that demands silence. Um, Yesterday, I lynched a teenage boy. Tina Pardo admits to her diary. It's a confusing time in America for this 30 something African American, conservative ish Christian woman, and Trina is navigating her own stormy seas while trying to make sense of political upheaval. And so, in essence, it's a story of a woman as she navigates life and love and relationships and community, all while the country is going from democracy to autocracy. And we see those changes happening as they affect her and as she reports them in her diary. And so she is not the most reliable narrator because she doesn't have all of the information like none of us do. She has what she understands from what she's seeing, what she's hearing on the news, and what she and her family are experiencing and how the political climate is affecting her. And so her diaries, it sounds like a heavy topic, and it is. I mean, it's a pure fiction. I don't know where I got the topic from. It just came to me out the blue. Um, but it really is about what happens when your world turns upside down. How do you find your place? What does resilience look like? How do you maintain relationships when everything you've known to be true is kind of ripped out from under you? Even what you believe is being co-opted by others, and you're not really sure, do I hold on to this? Do I still identify with this? Or who am I? And so that's the first one. I finished that one. Like I said, I did it in 2014 and finished it 2015. And now I'll be at places and I'll talk about it. And I was talking at a fair and a woman said, oh, she was Jamaican. Oh, you're a seal woman. You see the future child. And I was like, I'm not going to take that title because, if a prophet says something and it doesn't come true, you're supposed to kill it. But what I am is a student of history. A lot of my career has been with working with people who work in international spaces, myself working in international spaces, and that gives you a breadth of knowledge of what is possible. And so, even though I was seeing things happening in the US and I'm writing about things as they happen in the US, I'm writing about them because I have seen those things happen in other countries. And so, nothing new under the sun. Nothing
Right.
new under the sun. Second book, and this is sort of a loose series. You don't have to read one to read the other, is Wait, What? The Decimation of Lady Liberty. And really quickly, what happens when the only country you've ever known erases you with the stroke of a pen? Follow Joseph fled the brutal war of Sierra Leone, clutching the fragile dream of safety, belonging, and second chances promised by Lady Liberty. 2 decades later, a rising fascist regime strips away birthright citizenship, turning Falu's young U.S.-born children into targets. No longer hiding behind polite policy or coded language, America is saying the quiet part out loud. For Falu's 15-year-old son Solomon, the cost is immediate and devastating. Abandoned by his father and burning with rage, Solomon is deported to a land he's never known, Sierra Leone. There, he's forced to rebuild an identity from the ashes of an American dream turned nightmare. And so, again, What we may be seeing, hopefully not, but what we may be seeing in the near future in the US is the repeal of birthright citizenship. And wait, what? Citizenship now means that you have to have four US born grandparents. And so that erases a lot of people who have deep roots here. And what does that look like when you are displaced and you are looking at places where you've been told there's nothing but danger, but you have to figure out how to find belonging, how to find meaning, how to build a life. And we see that people are have the capacity for evil, but we also have the capacity for good. And so it's really a story about the resilience of the human spirit at the same time that we see the destruction of the human spirit. And so those are the two. This was thought of as a trilogy. I'm taking a little bit of break from it. My next book will be hopefully a romance novel. We'll see. Those are difficult for me to write. But those are the two.
And so where can we get the books?
They're both on Amazon. Also, you can get them through Barnes and Nobles. I'm on Goodreads, so you can purchase them there at Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
So you had mentioned, having these two books and wanting it to be a trilogy. So when you are looking at these two books, and both of the stories sound intriguing, have you ever thought about turning either one or both of them into audiobooks?
I have, and actually, that is on my list. I really want to have it done well. And so I'm researching now how to do that, what the price point is on that, honestly. But my sister is a phenomenal actress, and when I've gone and done readings, a couple of times she's done the readings for me because I'll trip over my words, even though I know what they say, but she has all of them. And each time people are like, where's the audio book? His audio book, right? It's all we can get an audio book. I'm like, not yet, not yet. So that is the next step for these two.
That is fantastic. And so if people are interested in connecting with you and learning more about you and the books, how do we do that?
You can reach me at my email is the easiest way, Dorcas Renee at dorcasrenee.com. Or you can reach me on my website, dorcasrenee.org. And but easiest, just email me. Email me. I love hearing from folks and knowing what you think about it. And if it sparks something, I always say that I want to write books that make you want to sit down with a glass of wine and a good friend to talk about what you've just partaken in.
Well, I
And so
will
that's
tell
what I,
you, Dorcas,
yeah,
that the Bright-Headed Publishing has a book club. It's called
I
the
already sent you
Reader
an email.
Society. And so when you are ready, and we just picked up a read that we're starting on the 1st of November, but when we're done, we don't know about your book unless you tell us. And so it's very easy to pitch the book club, and I'm pretty sure we would be open to reading you. The nice thing is that the book club, most of them will purchase the book, and support you as an author. We encourage people once they read the book to go out to Goodreads and leave reviews or reach out to the author. We invite the author to do Q&As and stuff like that. So we're really into supporting indie authors. And so we're always looking for new books to read, and we're always looking for new readers to join. And, so either way, the invitation is open to you.
Thank you. And I just sent you an email because I was listening to one of your podcasts and I said, and you mentioned that. I was like, let me get right on that. Send an email.
We don't know about your
Send.
book unless you tell us. So it's just
That's right.
another
That's
way
right.
we can help, your book get in front of real readers, people who are interested in supporting indie authors. So I've
Yeah.
got one more question for you before I let
Yeah.
you go. I like to ask, you've gone down this road of publishing this book and doing all of that. If you could go back and give one piece of advice to somebody who's sitting listening to you thinking, man, she's got two books, I've got a story, but how do I get it out there? Like what would you tell somebody?
It's a great question. I would say, look, you just do you. That's my one of my mottos. Just be you. They'll adjust because I think a lot of times I know what stopped me was I would get in the middle of something, even if I was just thinking about it and think, no one wants to hear that. You don't have anything to say. Who's gonna no no no. But if you're just yourself and just trust yourself, write it. If you can't find the words, plug into something creative. Like I said, I started doing storytelling, but I also started learning how to quilt. Anything that gets your mind starting to think in a creative way outside of the box that we're generally in, I think opens you up and gets those juices flowing. Last thing I will say, the writer's way. Is it Julie Cameron? That was such an influential book for me because she talks directly to the artist's soul and our self-deprecation and says just do it. You're only doing it for yourself. Just allow yourself that freedom. So those are the three things I would say.
Very, very good things to say too. All very important. So let me give you guys my laundry list of things before I let you go. Like I always say, number one, if you're interested in sharing this platform like Dorcas, all you got to do is go to my website. There's a link, says be a guest, fill out the information, boom, you're a guest. It is literally that simple. I promise you. If you are interested in, getting your book out there, but you're kind of stuck, you don't know how, guess what? I got a free guide on my website. It is 44 pages of just information that you need when you are looking to publish that book. It won't tell you how to write the book, but once you get it written, it will help you navigate those indie waters. If you're interested in supporting me, I've got two books. Wait for it and You Sound White. You can get them from me or you can get them wherever good books are sold. I'll ship them for free. I got some free goodies, but no pressure there. And then lastly, like I said, if you're an author, you're looking for a book club, you're a reader looking for a book club, we got one, the IRS, the Indie Reader Society. Go to my website, you can become a reader or you can pitch us as an author. Either way, we would love for you to join us. So Dorcas, before I let you go, I always like the author to just end us with whatever they would like to say. So now that you're in this space, you're on book number 3, would you in fact call yourself an author, right? Not a writer, but an author. And what does that mean?
Yes, I would call myself an author. It's hard though. Um, and what it means to me is I'm buying into myself. I'm buying into the gifts that I've been given, the divine gifts, the gifts of education. And so calling myself an author is for me to build myself up and to name what and who I am. But it's also in my mind a tribute to all of those who have gone before me, all of those in my life who have gotten me to this point to be able to say, without any hesitation, even though I may have some flutters, I'm an author because that is what I was created to be.